let's take a little break now from classwork, coursework, taking notes, looking at your manual and so forth, and realize that you've been learning a lot of information. You've been watching me work with a patient, you've been learning new techniques, you've been adding on to your knowledge from the techniques from the basic practitioner class, and you've really been growing and expanding quite a bit. So let's take a breather. Let's take a little break. It's time for you to receive the benefits of NLP. So what I'd like you to do is, if you're not operating a motor vehicle, go ahead and close your eyes. It's time for you to take a little break. And I'd like to do an NLP session with you. Something that's going to benefit you. Now, I don't know your major representational system or your personal words or anything like that, but what I do know is that you have an interest in learning NLP. And I hope that you have an interest in using that knowledge to add to the field, to help people, and perhaps to one day train people as well. What I'd like you to do now is imagine yourself in the future. And we're going to do a little future pacing. We're going to have you imagine yourself in the future at a time when you have all this down. You have all this knowledge. It's all clear to you. It's crystal clear. In your mind, everything is perfectly clear. Everything that you've learned, everything that you've studied, everything makes sense. Your knowledge of NLP is vast, and you have a ready access to all of that knowledge. At any time, anyone can ask you any question about NLP, and you will be able to answer with a detailed answer. So I want you to see yourself in the future having that knowledge and having the ability to share your knowledge in that way. I want you to make this very clear for you. Make the sights and sounds and colors and smells and tastes. You know what to do. Crank them all up to a level 10. Make it very real for you. Good. And as you stand there in the future, I want you to realize what a beautiful, wonderful, powerful, amazing person you are. And the reason you are these things is because you are you. You, no matter what you do, are unique. You're one of a kind. You're the only you that will ever be in the whole world. From the beginning to the end, there's only going to be one you. And it's your job to bring forth into this world those unique characteristics that you have. You know the ones I'm talking about. The ones that separate you from everyone else. The ones that you can use to your advantage to further your career, to help more people, to live a more full life and more fulfilling to yourself. So from this moment on, you are going to be you all the time. As you stand in the future, you realize that as of this present moment, as you look back to the present from the future, in this present moment, you're making a decision to be you and to do that job as well as you can do it. It's your duty, it's your right, it's your privilege to be yourself, to develop that unique part of you, those unique parts of you, to be who you are in every situation. And as you come back now into the present, use your imagination to imagine your timeline. Float back over your timeline into the present. You bring with you, from the future, the powerful motivation to live your life on your terms, to take more chances, to take more risk, to have more fun, to help more people, to be happier, to be you. Let's see who you are. Let's see what you bring to the table. Let's see what you bring to the world. I want you now to rise above your timeline again. I want you to float back to the past, to a time when you felt very confident in yourself. That's right. Confident and self-assured. And drop down into that time now on your timeline. Visit that time in the past. Drop in on that party. That's right. See it, feel it, taste it, hear it, smell it. Enjoy it, embrace it. Time when you were very confident. You realize that confidence is something that allows you to actually be calm inside. When we are confident, we are calm inside. We are relaxed. We are in charge. We realize that we are in control. So we let go of the need for being excessively loud or drawing attention to ourselves, because we're not feeling a lack, we're feeling power. We are feeling power. So let go of that feeling of lack and embrace the feeling of power. We are feeling power. We are feeling strength. We are feeling in tune with ourselves. We're letting go of lack, letting it go. All right. I want you to make a fist with your right hand. Go ahead, make a fist. And put it over your upper left chest area. Make a fist with your right hand, put it over your upper left chest area. And say confidence. Good. Relax that fist, let it go. Float up over your timeline. Float back into the present. Good. And now I'd like you to imagine that future you again. The future you that you imagined just a few moments ago. The future you that's full of energy, full of power. Because you are successful. You have helped people. You know so much about NLP. You are a vast resource of information. And because of that, you apply it to your own life. And I want you to see a future picture of you that's 10 feet tall. 10-foot tall picture of you in the future. But in front of you right now, all you see is yourself right now, as you are right now. Having some knowledge of NLP, having a belief in yourself, but realizing there's room for improvement. So you see that picture of yourself now, desiring improvement. And behind that picture, 10 feet tall, is a picture of you in the future. The new improved you, the more knowledgeable you, the more confident you, the more powerful you. The you that helps so many people. The you who is loved by so many. And you know what to do. In just a few moments, you're going to notice that the little dot that you're now seeing in the middle of that current picture of you is going to open up like a shutter, revealing the 10-foot tall picture of you in the future, and it's going to close. And it's going to do this 10 times in a row, as quickly as you can do it, as quickly as you can allow it to happen. And at the end of that, it's going to stay open, and all you're going to see is that future you. Okay? And each time you're feeling the power of that future you, relating to it on every level, V-A-K-O-G. Okay. Ready? Go. Good. Very good. Good. All right now. Finishing up if you haven't already. Good. All right. So how was that? Though I can't hear your answer, tell yourself, how was that? Using some basic principles from NLP can make us feel so lively all of a sudden, so powerful all of a sudden. Even the basic principles have tremendous power for us. So I want you to take time every day to use some NLP on yourself. Why not? If you are working with patients every day and you're telling them how they're going to change and you're helping them change, and they ask you that magical question, do you use this stuff? What has it done for you? Don't you want to be able to come up with an honest answer to that question in that moment? Don't you want to be able to say, why, yes, I do. In fact, just this morning I did the swish technique. I ran a swish pattern on myself, a classical swish, and you explain how you did it and so forth. Why, yes, I do. I use anchoring, for example. I just used it today, and here's what I did, and I feel great, and so forth and so on. Your testimonial about NLP is going to be so much more powerful if you start using it on yourself. Instead of it just being something that you know how to do and you can help others, start using on yourself. Because what I see so many times, and this is just fascinating to me, I see people who, well, this goes back to the early 90s when I had a friend who was a marriage and family therapist. This guy had been divorced and remarried. Well, he'd been remarried more than he had been divorced because he was married at the time. So he had been married 6 times. 6 times. Okay, so that means he had been divorced 5 and he was on his 6th marriage. This was a marriage counselor. This was a professional licensed counselor who worked with people to help their marriages. Now, oddly enough, he was good. I had never been to him, but I was told in the community that he was good. Okay, that's nice, but when I heard about that, I didn't refer anyone to him. And you may hear stories like that all the time. Oh yeah, their life is a mess, but they're good at what they do. That's nice, but are you going to really refer anyone to them? Think about that. Is anyone going to refer anyone to you if you have a reputation for having a life that's in disarray and you are the person who helps people? Well, maybe if you have some sort of superstar status and people just want to work with you anyway, that could work. But in reality, in a normal situation, and even if you do have some sort of superstar status, people really want to know that you've got your own act together, that you're achieving your goals, that if you're working with people to achieve their financial goals, you're capable of doing it. Let's see some evidence of that. Let's see something. So, whereas I'm not in favor of being flashy, I'm not in favor of, pretentious shows of wealth or anything like that. I want to tell you that if you want to specialize in NLP, I encourage that. But if you want to specialize in helping people build wealth, and you show up at a seminar in a broken down car that barely runs, what are you really saying about wealth? What are you telling the people at the seminar? Now, if that's not your focus, it doesn't matter. But let's say your focus is relationships. You want to focus on relationships, and you have a broken down relationship that won't run. And by the way, have you ever noticed that people's relationships are similar to their vehicles in many cases? Now, sometimes that's great because they've had the vehicle for a while, they've had the relationship for a while. Vehicle still runs great, even though it's an older vehicle. Relationship still runs great, even though it's an older relationship. So it's not necessarily a negative thing, but it's interesting how they tend to parallel each other. Sometimes a door on a car can be broken, and you've probably seen that the door on one side's broken and the person has to go to the other side to get in. You've seen people do that? Have you been in that situation? Okay, well, some people will let that go on forever. They'll let it go on for years. And it turns out the relationship is in a similar situation. The relationship is broken down in some way. It's not working in some way, and they've been tolerating it and avoiding fixing it for years. So make sure that you're making this personal. Make sure that you are taking time to use NLP on yourself and not just waiting for it to happen by chance in a program like this. Make sure that you are taking time every day, if you want to program yourself for success. So another example that I come across sometimes would be weight loss. People being overweight and wanting to help people lose weight. And again, for whatever reason, I've found that sometimes overweight practitioners are really good at helping people lose weight. Doesn't make any logical sense, but it tends to pan out. So if you are in that situation where you have a broken down car, you want to work with wealth, don't let that stop you. Go ahead and move forward, make that happen anyway. Work on it over time. If you're overweight and you want to help people lose weight, go for it anyway, because maybe it's the fact that people relate to you. Maybe that's the magic in it. But I want to tell you that over time, I want you to work on those things. I want you to improve those things. If that's your focus, if you believe so adamantly that people should lose weight, that you've devoted your life to it, helping people lose weight with NLP, then let's see you do the same thing. Okay, so you probably will get clients, even if you are overweight and want to work on that, because I guess people relate to people who are in their same situation. That's okay. But let's see you do it yourself. Let's see you make that happen. It's like having a mechanic with a car that won't run. Are you likely to send people to that mechanic if the mechanic's car won't run? Well, part of it, yes, is based on the mechanic's reputation. But there is a certain aspect of that makes you say, maybe not. Why would you limit yourself in that way? Why would you have as your flaw, if you want to look at it that way? I don't like to look at it as flaw, because being overweight is certainly not a flaw, and being poor, not having a lot of money is certainly not a flaw. It's just a situation. Those are situations. But people look at it that way. People look at themselves as being flawed, and they want to fix the flaw. So if you realize that people are looking at it that way as a flaw, and you have that situation yourself, you are going to preclude a lot of people from coming to you. You're going to stand in the way of your own success. Go ahead, be the overweight person who helps people, but also start working on that yourself. Start cleaning up your own life so that you can be more powerful.